No one knows exactly when flowers first caught our eye. From the wild into the garden, flowers carry human emotions, bring charm to gardens, and teach us how to live with them. Through the changing seasons, the private gardens of China's Jiang. The Chinese excel in integrating rare plants into landscapes. Young horticulturist Zhao Jiaming is apprenticing under Master Fun Minliang, who cares for over 900 potted plants in the garden. Zhao's main task is taking good care of hundreds of rhododendron bonsai, cultivated by Fan's own teacher.
People love things in nature, like flowers, trees, and grasses. But they grow outdoors, on mountains or in fields, and can't be brought into people's homes. So we gradually learned to grow them in pots, nurture them, and maintain their natural forms. Once they're potted, we can bring them indoors for an appreciation, celebrating the beauty of nature.
When plants and rocks are potted, and then pruned, shaped, and arranged with scenery, potted plants become bonsai. It creates miniature natural landscapes within arm's reach. During the 1960s in Suzhou, bonsai master Zhu cultivated rhododendrons at the humble administrator's garden. After 3 generations of dedication, rhododendron bonsai has become a signature of the garden.
High, low, left, right, direction. Bend halfway. One bend, then two. It becomes a foliage pad.
Say, you want to plant a rhododendron. You plant the seedling. Perhaps there are no blooms in the first or second year, but by the third, flowers slowly emerge. The joy in the heart comes from a sense of accomplishment. 3 years of effort proves worthwhile. This
We design gardens to our own liking. Like bees, pursuing flowers with devotion.
So the appeal, flowering things, it's all the same passion, it's all the same fun, it's all the same excitement, it's the same excitement in the beauty and the history and the origin.
For centuries, British royalty has fueled a fervor for building and tending gardens. Chinese gardens far away were once regarded by the British as the best examples of nature imitation. In 1762, they built a 10-story Chinese pagoda in the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew Gardens. The design and aesthetic of Biddulph Grange Garden, built in 1842, reflect people's fascination with foreign gardens and desire for exotic plants in the Victorian era. It was an era when alien flowers were introduced to Britain in large numbers. The quintessential British garden we know today began its rapid development then.
Gardening in the UK was rather more parkland gardening. It was Capability Brown, Repton, these huge landscape parks and gardens as they were called, but they weren't.
In 1893, the 32-year-old J.C. Williams joined the Royal Horticultural Society. By then in Britain, the free and picturesque gardening style had become widely popular. More natural, diverse, and colorful became the goals of garden enthusiasts.
My great-grandfather's interest in plants and horticulture, he collected all the seeds, he collected the herbarium specimens. The way that you transported seeds was to embed them in wax. So the seed journey itself was taking 3 or 4 months. The packages coming back all the way back from China marked J.C. Williams, Gehay's Castle. I think my great-grandfather's idea was to create something different, something that was higgledy-piggledy. It wasn't formal, it wasn't planned, it wasn't laid out with great eye lines, it wasn't planned by colour, it wasn't planned on the geography particularly.
Gehay's Castle is located at a latitude of 50 degrees north. Though the North Atlantic current spares it from harsh winters, sea winds throughout the year lead to damp, chilly weather in winter and spring. The natural conditions of manners here are far from ideal for horticulture.
To my great-grandfather, it was a very expensive passion. If you take the Forest 1911 expedition on its own, in today's money, my great-grandfather spent £400,000 funding that expedition on its own.
J.C. Williams believed that only through introducing and breeding new plant varieties could he diversify plant varieties in the family estate. With seeds of Eulania, rhododendron, and camellia collected from the mountains of Yunnan, China. He cultivated plants to decorate the garden.
This camellia started flowering in November and is still flowering in early March and will be flowering on into April. This is the largest camellia in Great Britain and Ireland. Look at this in comparison. There's hybrid vigour for you.
With Camellia saluanensis of Yunnan as the mother plant, Williams pollinated it with other camellia varieties. After 7 years, in 1925 he bred a hardy, prolific camellia cultivar, suitable for outdoor planting in high-latitude regions.
People love the beauty of the plants. They love the story of where they came from and how they were grown and developed. If you create a new plant, and the plant is popular and successful and particularly beautiful, then that plant will be growing in hundreds of years' time, and you've left something, a legacy.
If gardens are where we encounter nature, then the refinement and application of flower cultivation techniques is the only way to make the encounter eternal. In Jinhua, the home of camellias, the history of cultivating camellias began over 800 years ago during the South Song dynasty. Hut Songying, from Hoshi village, Jinhua, is a master of camellia cultivation. He is grafting camellia onto a tall tree for a camellia-obsessed client. Cutting the rootstock, trimming scions, making angled cuts, inserting the scion, and wrapping and bagging the graft. He demonstrates practice precision. He is known for his grafting skills. It takes over a decade for a camellia to grow, from a seedling to 2 meters tall. By grafting, however, scions gradually bond with the rootstock and share its nutrients, growing into a single plant. In just 3 years they develop into lush, tree-formed camellias.
When grafting, we need to make cuts. We have to make cuts to both the scion and rootstock. Insert it this way, increase the contact area for a higher survival rate. The scion relies entirely on the rootstock for water. A whole leaf demands more water, so we trim the leaf in half.
Though grafting appears simple, it requires years of practice. Compared to grafting, cuttage, another way of flower cultivation, is relatively simpler.
Cuttage is easier. We insert twigs in pots. Fields.
The greatest advantage of grafting and cuttage lies in perfect genetic inheritance, producing flowers identical to the mother plant. This is nature's secret hidden among flowers. Flowers symbolize life's brilliance. They delight our eyes and touch our hearts. Flower cultivators tend to be gentle by nature. Some excel at observation and respecting nature's ways. Others take pride in creation, cherishing new cultivars. The town of Chambouf in central France.
Middle of Europe. So there's no chance to go out of this village. And my great-grandpa was the first person to travel and to bring his roses all over the world.
The year 1867 is recognized as a turning point by the international horticultural community. Roses bred before 1867 are called old garden roses, while those cultivated afterward are referred to as modern roses. In the premier rose fields of Nice, France, Matthias and his father, Alain Mayland, will conduct a final variety assessment before market release.
We create between 100 to 200,000 new roses every year. We keep maybe 10, 20,000 of them for a couple of years to test them.
Every spring, hundreds of thousands of roses bloom at Mayland's breeding grounds. Yet most will only shine briefly before fading away. Perhaps only 3 or 4 varieties will ultimately endure and grace people's gardens. As one of the world's leading rose breeders, the House of Mayland has established a sophisticated hybridization system.
So you need to wait some time, a long delay.
Relentless exploration. horticulture expert Guo Runhua and her husband Professor Sui Yunji have deep insights into plants. Former university classmates, this couple has been teaching in Quaitun, Xinjiang since graduation. For years, they have been cultivating roses adapted to local conditions.
Winter survival remains the biggest challenge. Many beautiful, gorgeous roses can't make it through winter to the oncoming spring.
The altitude here is 1,720 meters. Higher up, there seems to be some more.
The Tian Shan region where Quaitun is located is rich in wild roses. Across vast canyons and valleys, these wild blossoms have adapted to extreme winters averaging below -20 degrees Celsius. So the couple crossbred wild roses with modern roses, seeking to develop cold-resistant hybrids.
We try to make use of the wild roses for hybridization. In autumn, we come to collect some F1 generation fruits for further processing. Do it slowly and protect the pistils. Don't knock them off.
Though Tian Shan wild roses and cultivated varieties belong to the Rosa genus, the actual hybridization experiments yielded entirely unexpected results.
After lots of designs and practices of hybridization, we found these crosses couldn't conceive or ultimately bear fruit. This was distant hybridization. Reproductive isolation caused sterility.
Distant hybridization typically refers to crossing different species of the same genus or different genera. It's a challenging topic in horticultural sexual reproduction, with low success rates and unpredictable outcomes.
During the process, we deliberately researched solutions and discovered a method called mentor pollination, which aids distant hybridization. This involves using pollen from a closely related species to stimulate the stigma and applying pollen from our cultivated roses. It somehow confuses the plant into accepting the foreign pollen for fertilization.
By using mixed pollen from varying genetic distances, the couple finally obtained precious seeds. Yet the joy from these seeds didn't last long. Soon, another puzzling problem arose.
In many cases, seeds sown in the current year failed to germinate the next spring.
We realized they had a long
continuation. With the seed problem solved, whether the new varieties can survive the harsh winter remains the greatest trial. Heavy snow signals the season when life retreats into dormancy. Extremely low temperature is a grueling test, even for wild roses. Let alone hybrid varieties that carry only part of the genetic traits of their wild counterparts.
Winter shoot dieback affects all roses, including cold-resistant ones. This includes wild species too. Their shoot tips cannot escape damage either. No rose can fully protect its outermost shoots under such extreme coldness.
Chinese roses have never thrived at 45 degrees north. In temperatures of minus 30 degrees Celsius, they wait for spring's return. These frozen blooms were cultivated through the couple's dedication.
These are too tender. That bud's already dead. Winter is not the only challenge. The true test comes with late spring coldness.
Large-scale planting is the ultimate test. Of a new variety's stability. And take an active part in this natural relationship. Through seasonal changes, we witness the cycle of life and death. But breeding and cultivation are very time-consuming. Today, scientists are involved in the interaction with flowers. They hope the newest research will unravel the essence of flowers and shorten the long, uncertain cultivation period. At the National Center for Scientific Research in Lyon, France, Chief Scientist Professor Mohammed sequenced and decoded the genetic information carried by rose chromosomes. He conducted identification research on all 36,377 genes.
You know, modern roses are hybrids between Chinese and European roses mostly. We went back in years and years and checked which rose was introduced into Europe and participated the most to the creation of the 35,000 roses that we find now. And we ended by choosing a Chinese rose called Rosa chinensis, cultivar old brush. Most importantly was, for example, the recurrent flowering, the capacity of the rose to flower for a long time between spring
nor does any remain one forever. Calling roses commodities may lack romance. Yet from breeding to auction sales, they've grown into a vast global industry, spanning horticulture worldwide.
Hello, everyone. The rose we're looking at now is China's ancient variety, Old Blush. We can only say it's resistant to disease.
Who would have known? The rose varieties, cultivated by Chinese ancestors, continue to spread beauty through the internet. And who could imagine how their transformation of the rose world has intertwined with countless human stories? The Donan Flower Market in Kunming is the largest fresh-cut flower market in China and perhaps all of Asia. Nearly 7 billion stems are traded each year. With the approach of Qixi Festival, the Chinese Valentine's Day, the rose trade is exceptionally busy. From selecting to inquiring, loading, and distributing. Soon, these fresh roses will become tokens of love in the hands of young people across the country. On our planet, plants provide the essential raw materials for our survival and daily lives. It's a generous offering without complaint. Yet every flower has its own universe. Every leaf its unique shade of green. In our long journey with flowers, what subtle connections do we forge with flowers through gardening? Without hiring gardeners, Huang does the job himself. Despite the increasing workload, he never shies from the toil. With modest earnings from the clinic, he nurtures his camellias. Before he realizes it, the flowers have claimed the entire mountain. Flowers bloom by solar terms and winds follow floral cycles. Since ancient times, the Chinese have called the winds messenger of flowers. They selected the most punctual bloomers as seasonal heralds. At minor cold, camellias blossom, signaling a time for a family reunion. During winter break, Wang's granddaughter returns from far away in Nanning, Guangxi. She loves admiring camellias with her grandfather.
Since childhood, I've come to this mountain when I'm back. I don't know why. But when I enter the gate and see those camellia trees, I can't help walking closer to them. In peak bloom seasons, the abundance of blooms is overwhelming, and I just feel drawn in. For example, I'm always impressed by white camellias. I remember when I walked past camellia trees. I wondered why many flowers fell while still fresh. When they did, I could hear them touch the ground.
Huang Yunpeng lives a simple and regular life, accompanied by camellias, and close to nature.
Flowers are best admired at half bloom, just as wine is best enjoyed when you are lightly tipsy.
With a few dishes and drinks, the whole family gathers together. Only with camellias does the Spring Festival feel complete.
Happy Spring Festival, overseas Chinese friends.
Another year begins anew. The city of Zigong glows with lights. Everyone awaits the arrival of spring. Someone said, gardening is an act of responsibility toward nature. It's about insisting on giving out gentleness and care in the right way.
Graceful and gorgeous. From the 19th century into the early 20th century, the camellia was a symbol and a fashion emblem for women's boutiques.
This year, Nantes hosts the biennial International Camellia Society Congress. Camellia lovers from around the world come to share, exchange, and discuss the flower's future.
healthy, happy, and she will bring us a lot of happiness, health, not only to people from nuns, but to the people in the whole world, and bring us prosperity in the future. Thank you very much.
Flowers seem to possess a primal and deeply rooted human instinct, namely to turn to nature for emotional solace. Through gardening, we can rebuild our relationship with nature. In exploring and understanding flowers, we get to reflect on our own lives. An old saying goes, "No garden is born out of darkness." Those who nurture flowers are allies of the light. Like bees, humans have long formed a lasting connection with flowers. It is a timeless bond that enables gardening to offer us hope, love, and fulfillment.